One of the things that I'm so passionate about is you have to understand the technology, and that means that you're probably gonna ask a lot of questions. I think as, I'm counsel, right? So I think that one of the things that is so critical to being successful, whether it's a negotiation with a customer or whether it's a negotiation with a vendor, is understanding how the technology works. And so in particular for AI in a marketing context, like really digging into what is this thing doing? How is the data flowing? And then once you sort of have that understanding, I think you can make a much more reasonable risk assessment about things like the data and the toms and those sorts of things with respect to the AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, and let's just call a spade a spade. AI is new. There are things that are still being figured out in AI. And even if somebody places a beautifully written clause that says that your AI shall be, unflappable and shall never do anything and shall be free of all IP issues, I think that you're kind of putting everybody, oftentimes when people do those things, with the exception of the extremely blue chip companies that are building those AI LLMs, you're effectively putting vendors in a situation where they either will tell you what you want to hear sometimes, which feels good because you can close out the contract, but they may be being disingenuous because of the fact that, some of this is a little bit of a black box. And so I think beyond what Kate is saying, I think acknowledging that AI itself is so novel that there are so many different ways in which traditional privacy expectations could go sideways, that it's partially about your vendor, but it's also partially about your internal controls. What are you submitting into it? How have people been trained on it? What are you procuring? Like, do you have a provision that says the model isn't being trained, and so on? So thinking about those things from both. And by the way, that's the same with all security and privacy stuff. Like, it's sometimes about what you control through paperwork. It's also about, training your employees, making sure that they understand the limitations of AI, making sure that you have awareness training that talks about not throwing things into the ether on a free version of ChatGPT if it's highly sensitive to the company. So just thinking through some of those things.